Hello and welcome to Connected episode 287. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, Pingdom, Smile, Hover, and Mac Weldon. My name is Stephen Hackett and I am joined by Mr. Myke Hurley.
Ahoy!
Oh, that is brisk.
Mm-hmm. Like the salty sea air of which I'm from. I'm a sailor now.
Are you? I've been to your house. It's not really near the ocean, but...
Well, I am not allowed to leave my house, so I'm liking to believe that my home is a boat now, and it's sailing out to sea, and that's me.
Or you're just spending a lot of time in the bathtub.
Rub-a-dub-dub, my friend.
Wait, what?
I don't know, man. Leave me alone. I'm losing it.
Also joined by Mr. Federico Vitici.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Are you in the tub?
No, not at the moment. Sylvia is right now, but I'm not.
That was a piece of information not necessary to share, but thanks anyway.
I just felt like you should know.
Are you a bath person, Federico?
I really am not. I am unable to relax.
Yeah, I can't really do it anymore after my back injury.
Yeah.
Bathtubs are pretty bad for me now. But I was never a big bath person anyway. I've always been a shower guy.
Yeah, me
like
too.
a nice hot shower.
Well, they're different.
Yes.
Okay, they're different things. A shower is for cleansing your body from the
No, I
ills of the day.
disagree.
I disagree.
I love thinking while I'm doing a shower. Like, I just stand there for like 10 minutes.
I listen to podcasts in the shower because I have a waterproof phone. And I have a little shelf in my shower, like at home, and the phone goes on it. There's like a wire like backing to the shelf, so my pop socket just hooks back onto it. Great, and I listen to my podcasts and relax in a nice hot shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I agree with all that, but my point was a bath, in my view, and I am a bath person. A bath is not to clean yourself. You're sitting in your own filth. It is to get it as hot as you can stand it and to relax. And I find it very nice. I really like a bath.
I do believe that you can clean yourself in a bath. I don't prescribe to the sitting in your own filth mentality.
Depends on how dirty you are. You'd be surprised how many times I text you guys in the evenings from the bathtub.
No, I wouldn't be surprised because I know what you do. Because sometimes you'll just tell us, and the fact that you tell us means it must happen a lot. Because I don't think I've ever told you that I'm in the bath because I don't take baths that often.
I do it I would like to do it like once a week. Sometimes it's just a couple times a month, but I find it very nice.
The thing about the sitting in your own filth thing is like, if you are that dirty, you shouldn't be taking a bath. Like that's on you, right?
Okay, I go with that. Yeah, like if I go mountain biking and I'm covered in dirt, I'm gonna take a shower, right? I'm not gonna sit in the tub with like debris floating around me.
Because then you need 2 bars at least.
Yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to Connected, a show about technology,
but bathing.
About bathing. We have some follow up. Good news. People like the MacBook Air. Myke, you and Jason talked about this on Upgrade this week. Jason had a review on 6 colors. We also have in the show notes a link to Gruber's review and one by MKBHD and one by our friend Austin Evans, our coworker Austin Evans.
Yep.
Coworker. It seems awesome. People seem to really like it. We had gotten some tweets about the base CPU being an i3, and I looked at Geekbench just a couple of minutes ago, and there's not a lot of 2020 MacBook Airs on there yet. But from what I read and my understanding with the process change, because these are now using the smaller die, that the i3 should be as fast or faster than the old i5. So don't let the label confuse you. It's kind of because the way these this new generation of chips goes together, like the i3, i5, i7, that branding is a little confusing between the generations.
I hate that. 2 generations of MacBook Air ago had i3s in. It's too confusing. I don't like that. Like they kind of settled on that branding.
Well, eventually it'll be ARM Macs, and it'll just be this was powered by the M1, and the next year is the M2X, and next year the M3Z. So it will get better.
M3Z Plus Pro
Max.
I'm pretty confident that this will be the machine that I buy to replace my MacBook Pro. I feel pretty confident now.
Do you?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to wait for the mythical 14-inch MacBook Pro.
I don't think I need it. Like I
don't either.
I've not completely decided. but I'm pretty confident that this will be the mixture of power and portability that I've been looking for.
I think you should do it. We talked about this last week. I had a Instagram live thing with Casey the other day, trying to tell him not to buy a MacBook Air, that he should wait for the MacBook Pro because he's doing Swift UI development. You are not. So I don't think you need to.
You think it's not.
Yeah.
You think it's not.
Yeah, I might be. 1, 2, 3.
Swift calendar.
Yeah, Swift calendar. I'm not pulling the trigger anytime soon because I need it for my studio, which I legally am not allowed to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. But I think that I will probably want to do this or be in a position to do this before Apple releases the next MacBook Pro, because I actually think we're quite a way away from that now, like probably past June. I don't know.
I felt like if it was going to happen, it would be with those machines or maybe today, like a week later. But I think you're right. I think now the window's closed.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be June or if they will wait until maybe the next revision of the larger MacBook Pro, which could be towards the fall. I just haven't decided in my mind when I think it's going to be now, because it's like that. This was the time, and it's not now. So who knows when?
Yeah, I think Air would be a good choice. I think you would enjoy that machine.
Yeah, I think it's what I need.
We spoke last time about the Magic Keyboard coming in May for the new iPad Pros. And just a little note. So Dr. Drang did this blog post. Probably a lot of people have seen it at this point. Him talking about is it going to tip over in your lap? And because Drang is an engineer.
Yeah, I didn't really understand this article. I'm sorry.
It is very confusing. But
was he arguing like is he saying that it's actually going to work or not? Like, what's the conclusion?
That it will work, basically he's explaining that this is why it should work, but it still kind of remains to be seen what would happen on non-flat surfaces, basically.
Yeah.
And what's with the music video at the end?
It's in regards to a reference he made in the line before.
I get it.
That's what he does.
He's a very musical person.
He is.
Okay.
Singing, dancing snowman.
Yeah, I like this article, though, because it helped show me that there is real, engineering knowledge. Not knowledge, but proof that this should work is kind of something that I wanted to see, so I'm pretty happy about that, at least.
I mean, I guess in conjunction with this, Apple hasn't said how much it weighs, and I would imagine that the weight of the base makes a big difference in how tippy it is.
It's going to be heavy. It's going to be close to the weight of an iPad, I'm sure.
I think so,
sure.
But I think that's totally fine. It's going to be a nice experience. And in addition to tipping over, I don't want the thing to feel wobbly when I go up and poke at the screen with my finger. I want it to feel like a solid thing. So I'm fine with some weight if it gives a really nice experience.
Yep, because the cursor, the trackpad, does not mean I also won't touch it.
Exactly. I think it's going to...
I want to be able to do both.
I went back and watched multiple times those 2 seconds from the Apple commercial when the person is using the Magic Keyboard on their lap, and I watched over and over, and it doesn't wobble, so it looks to be pretty sturdy in terms of the person is when they open the Magic Keyboard, it looks to be pretty solid. So I also think it's gonna be heavy. I do wonder. Bunch of readers have asked me, are you going to be able to fold the Magic Keyboard on its own, like you can do with the Smart Keyboard Folio or the Smart Folio? I don't think you can. But we don't know. We don't know. Can you fold it all the way to the back? I don't think you will be able to, which makes me sad, because it means that my kickstand method will not apply to the Magic Keyboard for iPad. But also, it doesn't. I mean, what are you gonna do?
No, I don't think that this will do that at all. I think it's kind of you have it on and it's closed, or it's open in typing mode. This won't be a wraparound dealio.
Yeah,
because that hinge is going to be stiff, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a stiff thing.
And you've got the little USB-C column tubey deal in there, and so that's got to turn all the way around. Yeah, I don't see this being a deal where you can wrap the keyboard all the way behind it, but I think it'd be nice to have it on your desk, and if you want to take it off. You just take it off, and then it just sort of like stays in your desk closed, and then like you put it back.
Well, I think that's why they keep showing that. Like in multiple videos, Apple have shown like just a shot of somebody just taking it off.
Yeah.
Which also would indicate the weight of it.
That it can withstand it.
Those magnets are strong, and you have to be able to like remove it. Well, if the video is to be believed, you can just take that thing off there, which means that has to be heavy enough to fight against the strength of the magnet, which is not easy.
What's the consensus on when you remove an iPad? So you're an iPad Pro person and you use your iPad Pro at a desk with a smart keyboard or in the future the Magic Keyboard. What's our consensus on when you remove it and you maybe want to go spend some time on the couch with your iPad, or you just want to, have a change of scenery and work in tablet mode somewhere else? Do you or do you not keep like a spare smart folio around the house? Or do you just use it naked with no case, no cover, nothing?
Currently, I will go naked because...
me too.
Because I either have it in my Clear Look stand, or I have it in my Bridge keyboard, or I have it in nothing. So, like, I'm very used... My iPad is never covered, right? Like, the back of it is never covered by anything anymore because I don't use the smart keyboard folio. So I would use it without. And so my expectation will be that I will either go from in the stand with an external keyboard, or I will go smart keyboard to replace what the Bridge would be doing, or nothing. Because I just don't want to be putting a case on and taking it off all the time and then having this like big thing to deal with. That's my current thinking, but I haven't made my mind up yet. Like, I might go smart folio. I'm more inclined to get one of those now because they have colors, so they're a little bit more visually appealing. But again, all of this stuff for me is subject to change depending on how working outside of the home is going to be. And like, how am I traveling and what am I taking, if I'm taking anything to and from the office every day. But my expectation is I will be no cover. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing the same right now. So just when I'm tired of typing at my desk, I just grab the iPad and I leave and I go to the other room and I just use it in touch mode. But yeah, no case. So I don't think it's going to change. I don't really want to keep an extra thing because I tried that for a while. Like, I will leave like a spare smart folio in the kitchen or like in the hallway. And it was just an extra thing that was always sitting there. And at that point I realized, I'm just going to grab the iPad, and if I drop it, so be it. What do you do, Stephen?
I do the same as y'all. If it's not in the keyboard case, it's just naked. For all those reasons, I don't want an extra thing flopping around.
Yeah, very well. Okay.
I do really like the new blue case, though. The surf blue case. It's beautiful. It's really nice. It's a great color. But I don't really see a need for it. Like, it would just be an addition. I wish that they would make the smart keyboard folio in colors. Why not?
Me too. Can I tell y'all a story about product balance?
Yep.
While we're talking about this, you remember the white and black plastic MacBooks? Those things. So those were really well balanced. Like, you open the lid with one finger and the base of the computer stays on the desk. Well, that worked until you were like working on them. Like, if you had to replace a part in them, and you took the top case off, and it would start like the front feet would start to want to lift off. And then if you took any other component out, like the hard drive out, the RAM out, anything, it would tip back on its hinge. Like, Apple had it weighted just right where the base of the computer weighed just enough to keep it on the ground. They're really good at that stuff. So I would expect that this thing will behave the way we want it to. That's my hope.
It seems like it would have to have been designed that way. Otherwise, you shouldn't have done it. But we'll see, right? We don't know.
We don't know. We'll find out in May or whenever they finally start shipping to everybody.
As long as it is as balanced as the smart keyboard folio, then I'm fine. Right? Like, that is not a completely balanced product, right? You can push it over, you can tip it over, but it takes work to do that. And as long as they've at least matched that, then I'll be happy.
All right, we've got a bunch more to talk about, but let's take a break. Talk about our first sponsor. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Pingdom from SolarWinds. While you've been listening to this podcast, how would you know if your website had gone down? Would you know if your customers couldn't click that Buy Now button or access your content? You might stumble across the problem by luck or see a tweet or an email, but that's not a system, and you need a system. You need something to tell you that everything is running smoothly on your site, and more importantly, when it's not, you need Pingdom. Pingdom detects around 13 million outages every month. That's more than 400,000 outages every day. It helps keep your site and many, many sites that you love, like Relay FM, online. It doesn't matter if you're a startup or a Fortune 500, you need alerts about critical website issues. Pingdom lets you customize how you're alerted and who's alerted depending on the severity of the outage. Plus, they track and analyze your website's load times so you can see what's affecting the user experience. If you have a site of any size, you need Pingdom. And Pingdom has a no-fuss approach to getting started. All they need is the URL you want to monitor, and they just take care of the rest. Go to pingdom.com/relayfm right now for a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. And when you sign up, use the code CONNECTED at checkout to get a huge 30% off your first invoice. Our thanks to Pingdom from SolarWinds for the support of this show and Relay FM.
Mac madness.
Woo!
It's turned into absolute madness. It's descended. Everyone's losing their minds. It's wild. What is going on with your what should have been a fun project, but seems to have taken some dark turns?
It's taken over my life is what it's done. Yeah, we're recording this on Wednesday the 25th. Yesterday, the 24th, I closed round 2 of voting. So there's a link in the show notes. You can see what moved forward. I will say that some people, including the aforementioned Dr. Drang, are very unhappy about some of the votes, but the votes are what the votes are. I have no control. People are voting. Look, the heart wants what the heart wants, and the heart wanted a G4 Cube over the 13-inch MacBook Air. I can't say why. That one, by the way, the most surprising to me, that the good MacBook Air is out to the Cube. I did not see that coming. I have a really good YouTube comment I want to share with y'all. So this person wrote, bruh, B-R-U-H. So there's that. The G3 and G4 iMacs were a piece of my childhood, with my elementary school chock full of them in the computer lab and classrooms. Next year, you should add the eMac so my childhood can get ruined again.
It is wild to me that the iMac G3 got knocked out to the MacBook Pro. Like that one was honestly the biggest surprise of everything. It's weird that like people seem to be getting actually mad about this, which is interesting. That like it's what people are voting for.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I understand the anger that it seems to be getting. All I'm saying is I'm pleased you're doing this and not me, because I don't think I would be able to handle it. That's
fine. I don't think anyone's mad at me. They're just mad at each other. So that's how democracy works. You vote your way, and the other person votes the other way, and you're mad at them for 4 years. That's how it goes.
Yeah, just like it went in your countries too.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I like that you're sharing the numbers though, because the thing is like most of these contentious ones like split down the middle.
Very close.
That it's like always like 50 to 40 something, which is just interesting. There aren't a lot of like real big landslides.
Yeah, there was only really one. I think there was one that stood out. I'm skimming my own blog post now. Yeah, the 2006 to 2012 Mac Pro at 72% against the Mac 2 FX. That's the biggest gap, I think, so far in the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, so round 3 is open now, and I will tell you that the voting so far in round 3 are bigger gaps on average than I've seen in previous rounds. So people are, I guess, getting more into what they want, or maybe the voting is just sort of consolidating around certain machines.
The quarterfinals, I think, are going to bring some heartbreaks because there's a lot of like really beloved computers in this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I would love to see Mac Pro 2019 versus Mac Pro 2006-2012 in the final. Like, they are on opposite sides of the bracket, and I just think that would be hilarious if it just ends up that it's just two Mac Pros going out against each other.
Yeah, I don't really know how it's going to end. I have some guesses, but again, I'm not voting, and I'm not sharing any of my guesses. So I will say at the end what I thought. I am glad, though, that now everything's still in I have one of, so I have some fun plans for the finale, for the final video. So
you have all of them?
all that are left in now. I think I do.
That's good. That's good.
Mac Pro, MacBook Pro, G5, clamshell, Cube. Yep, I have all of these. So we'll see. So go vote. This round will close on Friday afternoon, and I will again do the same thing, live stream the winners, have a video up, and then we'll be into the final couple of rounds.
That's wild.
It's going to be good.
Do you think you know what's going to win? You don't have to say what it is, but do you think you know what's going to win?
Out of what's left now, I have a couple that I think could go all the way.
I'm down to 2. I guess it's not important if I say. I think it's either going to be the black MacBook or the Mac 128K. That's what I think. It's going to be one of those two.
They're on the same side of the bracket, right? They're both on the right side.
No, they are facing off against each other in the quarterfinal.
That's the problem.
I think whatever wins that wins it all.
I think the new Mac Pro 2019 is going to win.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. See, this is why I really want to see Mac Pro versus Mac Pro.
There were a lot of feelings involved with waiting for the Mac Pro comeback, and I think a lot of people are channeling that, sense of relief into voting for this Mac Pro.
The reason I think it won't be that one is because lots of people that would want it can't buy it because it's too expensive, and I think that will be the thing that will stop it from taking the crown.
I mean, the idea of being a favorite is super weird, right? Like, it's not best. It's not the one that you had growing up, right? It's just favorite. It's very interesting to see how people interpret that.
I think it's going to be Mac Pro 2019 versus clamshell iBook G3. And on the other side, it's going to be G4 Cube versus Black MacBook. And my ideal final would be Mac Pro 2019 versus the Black MacBook.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we'll
see.
We'll find out soon enough. So go vote. All that stuff's in the show notes. I appreciate everyone voting. The voting has been it's been really popular. So I'm glad people are enjoying it. It's fun to do something fun.
Let me see. Let me take a look here. What do I think could be the worst winner? Probably the Power Mac G5.
What's the Power Mac G5? I don't even know.
You'll know it when you see it. It's the tower computer that had the acrylic plastic from the G3.
No, the Power Mac G5.
No, that's the first one that looked like a Mac Pro. Sorry, that was the Power Mac G3. Yep. I do know these things. I just got it slightly confused.
It looked like the whole tower. It just had a PowerPC processor in it.
This is like a fake cheese grater.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why is this so far ahead?
I don't know. Well, it had, Syracuse said this, the Power Mac G5 actually had the easiest run so far because it had like the original Mac Mini. I thought the 20th anniversary Mac would go further, but it died in the first round. And it had the Mac Portable. And again, the seating was random. Yeah. But I think the Power Mac G5 had the easiest path to where it is now out of the ones that are left.
Can I ask you a question? Are you regretting the random seating?
No.
I said to you I thought it was a bad idea, and I think that anger has played out.
I mean, I'm shocked the 13-inch Air lost to the Cube. Shocked. Like, I double-checked that like 4 times. Like, no way that's how that went.
Well, the random seating wouldn't have helped that.
Well, it could have if I could have put the Air against, I mean, the way that you would seat it manually is you would have what you would think your 4 winners are, one in each quadrant.
Yeah, but but you never would have assumed that the Cube would beat the Air.
No, I wouldn't.
So you probably would have made that matchup.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the random seating makes it just more feisty, and I think that's what's fun about it. So, I mean, look how busy the chat room is right now. Everybody's yelling about the G5. Someone in the someone in the chat room. Mac Stories literally has an article from 2018 about the Power Mac G5, Federico. Yeah,
yeah, but you probably wrote it.
I did write it. Put that in the show notes.
I may have read it, and I may have forgotten about it because it's so,
exciting,
forgettable. This is like the fast bender of computers.
Exactly. There is another Mac like this though. There was the iMac, the last iMac before the Intel transition, right?
The iMac G5.
It looked just like the same as the Intel iMac, but you forget about it. Or like the iPad 3? Which one? 3.
It was gone in like 6 months.
Yeah, because they just replaced it with a Lightning port, and then that was it.
And they made it a lot faster.
Maybe the 2020 iPad will be another one of these machines. Or it gets replaced by something. We'll find out later on in the episode, maybe.
We'll talk about that later. So anyways, that's Mac Madness. Go forth and vote, please.
Madness it is.
It is madness. Moving into some tiny topics, there's a little bit more coming out from the iOS 14 code that 9to5 and maybe others had their hands on. This is written by Zach Hall, outlining features coming in the Find My app, which of course used to be Find My Friends and Find My iPhone, and it merged because all of our friends are our phones. They're not actually people anymore. And it seems like Find My is going to get a couple of features. So one is the ability to receive alerts when someone arrives at a location. So right now, if Myke's at the grocery and I want to know when he leaves the grocery, I can set that up in Find My. There's also an option in there when they don't arrive at a location on time. So it's like, okay, they're supposed to be there between 8 and 8:30 and they haven't gotten there. Find My would let you know, which is cool. So that would be added. That would be useful, I think, for parents, like kids going to school. Maybe the kids driving themselves for the first time, and you want to make sure they get there in one piece.
I like this addition. This is a clever and logical continuation of that notification stuff.
There's also an AR mode with Find My, which would let you locate visually your things.
Well, so we've spoken about this, right? Like the possibility of an AR mode for AirTags, right? That you would use that. The 9to5 Mac article words this feature very strangely. So I'll read what it says. Apple's Find My app in iOS 14 will also work with augmented reality headsets. ARKit, Apple's augmented reality development framework, includes headset mode in the upcoming software update. Users will be able to locate visually using augmented reality for precise directions from close locations, including upcoming Apple AirTag device trackers. I would be really surprised if... So one, I mean, this is making some huge presumptions about what's coming for iOS 14. Like, cannot imagine that Apple will have its own headset available at the end of this year. I mean, yes, the headset mode might be considered, right? Because that's a thing that we've known about for a bit, like quote-unquote third-party headsets. But surely this feature would be added to the iPhone. Like, there's no reason why the iPhone wouldn't get an AR mode for Find My if you're able to find other devices. It's just an interesting way of reading it. Like, maybe they only have got confirmation on certain parts, I'm not sure, but it just seemed like a strange feature to just be locked down in that way or referenced in that way. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it feels like there's a lot of things to drop with AR this year, especially with the LiDAR sensor on the iPad. It's like, okay, that's coming to the phone, right? Like, what else could they do with it? And I could see this being really cool.
Oh, by the way, I think that might be the first confirmed 2020 annual prediction, by the way. It's your boy over here. The iPad Pro line is updated before the iPhone with a hardware feature that's not on any current iPhone.
Let me scroll down in the document.
I already marked it as green.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah, because I'm correct.
Yeah. There's a lot of other stuff in here. All right, now I'm just
there
reading
is,
predictions.
but none of it has happened yet.
None of it's happened
I read
yet.
through this like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
There's still time. Honestly, pretty much all of the other predictions, bar like one or two, wouldn't happen until June onwards. But this one has.
Yeah, good job there. You got a point.
Thank you.
Well, if the iPhone gets the LiDAR sensor.
No, but the point was it doesn't need to.
No, it does need it. It's before the iPhone.
It does. Before the iPhone.
What if the iPhone gets it in 2022? I never said it had to be this year.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I see.
By the end of this year, we can't say that's wrong.
The iPad Pro is updated before the iPhone. Because he said that's not on any current iPhone. That's how he saved the point.
We judge it by the way it's written. The way it's written does not say that it has to come to the iPhone
We've
this year.
been very generous with you.
Come
for this
on,
phrasing.
generous.
Yes.
Come on, ridiculous.
Yes, we were. Yes.
Well,
someone's just mad he doesn't have a Twitter account.
Well, he's going to get two of them. I'm going to take them both.
Yeah.
Now,
sure.
that would be the real flex, to have both.
Yeah.
I mean, another flex is to have one and never use it.
Yeah. Federico. All right. Disney Plus has arrived in the continent of Europe, and I was seeing what the two of y'all thought about this. Well, Europe and Britain. How's that going?
You literally said the continent of Europe. You said the continent. We haven't left the continent.
Geographically, they have not.
Yeah, we have left the European Union, of which the European Union includes countries that are not in the continent of Europe. These are two very separate and distinct things.
Jeez. So how's Disney Plus?
Besides geography, so we signed up for. I accidentally, I think, signed up for an annual account, but whatever.
No, that was a good thing. If you bought it before the launch day, you got money off.
Yeah, there was a discount, and I feel like it was too late, and I was like on the preview page. I was like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna watch a bunch of stuff anyway, so might as well go for it. We watched one movie so far. So we watched the live action remake of Lady and the Tramp.
Okay. Yeah, that's original for the service, right? That was actually a movie that came out.
Yes, Disney now has a bunch of these live action remakes. There's one for Aladdin. There's Dumbo. There's The Lion King. The Lion King, though, is you can go check it out. There's a preview page on Disney Plus, but it tells you due to current licensing rights issues, this will be available starting April 21st. So it actually tells you, like, due to expiring rights, this will be available on this day. So I thought that was very nice. So I have the app on my iPad, on my phone, and on the Apple TV. We watched on the Apple TV. I thought it was very nicely done. The sign-in flow from the Apple TV was super nice. I just needed to open the app on my iPhone on the same Wi-Fi network, and it logged me right in. So that was cool.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of different types of login flows for like smart TV stuff. This is the smartest and easiest that I've seen.
This is the easiest because usually you go like to a web page, like and you type in maybe sometimes like a code, and it signs it, or maybe you just log in with your account. But this is by far the easiest that I've seen. The app is, I mean, it's functional, it's fine, just like any other app for tvOS. It suffers from the same issues that we've mentioned time and time again. You click the menu button on the Siri remote, you don't know what's going to happen. And in this case, it doesn't navigate back in the navigation structure of the app, but it actually takes you. It's very confusing. It's one of those apps that has like a custom behavior for the menu button, and it took me like 20 seconds to understand what was going on. But besides that, it's well designed. It supports Dolby Atmos. It lets you choose from multiple languages, just like Netflix. So it was kind of late when we started watching the movie at 1 a.m. and we figured, usually we watch movies in English, but we figured, we just want to relax. So we're just going to watch this one in Italian. Really nice job with the voiceover, by the way. Really nicely done. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a bunch of things that will become available at some point, like The Lion King. I love that you can browse by property, so like Pixar and Marvel, and there's Star Wars hub. That's very nicely done. Now that I have an annual subscription, I might as well at some point actually watch Star Wars and become a man of culture in that sense. Maybe, I don't know. I want to rewatch the Toy Story movies because it's been I've never watched 3 and 4, sadly.
Okay.
And I watched 1 and 2 many, many, many years ago. So might as well do like a Toy Story rewatch. Sylvia doesn't really like Toy Story, so I probably have to do it by myself. Otherwise, we're gonna watch all the live action remakes. I have been told that I will have to fix some unforgivable holes in my Disney movie catalog culture, in terms of I've never watched things like Cinderella or The Aristocats, or growing up, I don't know why, but my mom didn't want to buy me those movies on VHS.
Also, they weren't easy to get when we were kids because Disney had this thing called the Vault where they would release these movies for chunks of time.
Exactly, but my girlfriend makes fun of me for that because she's convinced that everybody has watched those movies and I did not. So, okay, Siri, So Siri on my watch just transcribed everything I said for some reason. So
That's good.
I will watch all the cartoons and all the live action remakes, and then we'll see about Star Wars and the TV shows. I really, again, probably something that I will have to do myself. There's a like Inside Disney documentary of like an hour that I want to watch.
I've heard very good things about the Imagineering series, which is about the Disney parks, which I'm really excited to watch.
It's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. So, thumbs up so far. I mean, it's and they're doing so much advertising on Italian TV.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to Myke and Steven a few days ago. They actually did something really clever here in Italy. So the first episode of The Mandalorian aired on public TV in Italy, on Channel 6 here in Italy. And so you can watch that first episode for free on TV, but then if you want to get the rest, of course, you sign up for Disney Plus. And they are airing commercials for Disney Plus like every few minutes. Especially this past couple of weeks, it's been a massive, like everywhere there's a mention of Disney Plus launching in Italy. So, yeah, I mean, we signed up and it's fine. We like it.
Yeah, there's so much content. Like, we're going to do a Toy Story marathon as our first thing. Because Adina's not seen any of them, so I'm excited about that. I just haven't seen the most recent one. I think the app is nicely designed and it's nicely organized, as Federico said. You know, it's doing what every Apple TV app from a large media provider is doing. They're using their own design. They don't care about what Apple wants them to do. And I think overall the design is good, right? The category stuff is good, but not perfect. Like, where are the Simpsons? You know, which is, you know, there are 600 episodes of The Simpsons on this service, but it's not on the front page, which is a surprise to me. I would have expected it to get a little bit more prominency. But, you know, you have to go to the TV shows menu and you can find it there. I also like that all of the, like, what would be DVD extras are just all available. So you can watch the deleted scenes and the behind the scenes stuff of movies. Like, they have all of those. I just think that's just like a nice little touch. But just looking around, really, it's wild, like, to see all of that content there. There is so much stuff, so much good stuff. So I'm excited to spend more time with Disney Plus. It's very well priced, right? Like £5 a month or whatever. But I also did the sign up for a year, get £10 off thing. Yeah, it's real. I'm very pleased that we finally have it in Europe. But I think it's ridiculous that we have to do week by week for The Mandalorian. I think that's madness. Like, the entire show was already aired in America.
Yeah.
But we get the first 2 episodes and then have to wait weekly. I think that's just mad. Like, really just like bananas.
All right. This episode of Connected is also brought to you by our friends over at Smile, the makers of Text Expander. Save time typing and boost your productivity with Text Expander. It lets you easily insert snippets of text as you type using a quick search or abbreviation. You can create snippets for anything you type frequently. They can be simple, like your phone number or email address, or really complex with things like customizable forms, fill-in fields, automatically calculated dates, and much more. Text Expander works everywhere you type without the need for any sort of special plugin. So you can use it in email or word processors, spreadsheets, web apps, iMessage, Slack, online services, and way, way more. Businesses like yours use Text Expander every day to manage and share snippets with employees and keep the whole team on track. If you want to learn more about Text Expander, you can sign up for one of their free webinars. There's one about power tools for customer support professionals with Help Scout in March, along with a Text Expander beginner, advanced, and teams webinar. So you can go through and really learn anything from the basics to the more complex. Those are all over at textexpander.com. I've used Text Expander forever. It's one of those utilities that without it, my Mac feels just broken. And I was looking through some of the snippets that I have in Text Expander, and I've got things from, correcting spelling. So things that I mistype will correct it for me automatically. I have one that is just my email addresses. So I can do ;SRF, and it gives my relay email address. So I'll type the whole thing out. It's amazing. Anything you type a couple times a day, just put in Text Expander, and you'll be shocked at how much time you'll save. Text Expander is available for macOS, Windows, Chrome, iPhone, and iPad. And connected listeners will get 20% off their first year. Just go to textexpander.com/podcast to learn more about TextExpander. That's textexpander.com/podcast. If you've been meaning to try TextExpander out, now's the time. Our thanks to TextExpander for the support of this show and Relay FM.
All right, so new iPad Pro reviews are out. Well, new because technically it is new, but we're going to talk about it. Really not much is new in this iPad Pro. So I watched the MKBHD video and I read the reviews from Jason at Six Colors and John at Daring Fireball. So basically the consensus is if you're an existing 2018 iPad Pro user, you don't really need to upgrade unless you are an ARKit developer, because in that case you probably want to start testing your apps against the new LiDAR sensor and ARKit 3.5, which Apple also released, and the new framework takes advantage of the LiDAR sensor in the new iPad Pro. But otherwise, that is the only new feature, basically. And there's also a camera change in the sense that you can now take ultra-wide photos, but the benchmarks are still the same and it's still got the same design. And in your day-to-day experience right now, without a Magic Keyboard, without any ARKit 3.5 apps, the 2020 iPad Pro is still the same as the 2018 iPad Pro. There are some differences, but again, you probably will not notice them. All 2020 iPad Pros have 6 gigs of RAM. Instead, in 2018, only the 1 terabyte model had 6 gigs of RAM, but I bet that most users will not, if ever, run into those limitations memory-wise. You can take, as I mentioned, ultra-wide pictures. There's no portrait mode for the rear camera, surprisingly. Gruber argues in his review that Apple wanted to focus their resources on getting the LiDAR stuff going right now for ARKit 3.5.
Yeah, I have another theory about this, which is that they will be making massive improvements to portrait mode with the addition of LiDAR in the next iPhone, and they want to keep that for then.
Probably.
And not make these big jumps on the iPad Pro before they make them on the iPhone.
Could be one of the features that they mentioned for the iPhone 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. We have benchmarks. There's again, pretty comparable to the 2018 iPad Pro that was running the A12X. This is running the A12Z. What else? The new studio quality microphones. Again, Gruber has a test. There's 2 audio clips on Daring Fireball that you can listen to. And sure, there's I would say, minor improvement in terms of quality. I wouldn't say it's a studio quality microphone. I wouldn't suggest recording a podcast on that.
Any microphone is a studio quality microphone if you take it into a studio.
Sure.
That's how that works.
Is it though? Is it though?
That's what it means.
I don't know.
That's what it means.
Any microphone is a studio quality microphone if marketing says so.
Yeah. There are studios of all shapes and sizes and qualities,
Sure. What else? We have new smart folios, new smart keyboard folios. The Magic Keyboard, of course, will be backward compatible with the 2018 iPad Pro because the camera cutout in the back is bigger, but it's still going to fit the older and smaller camera bump of existing iPads.
Every single iPad Pro review spends a significant portion of time talking about the fact that they don't have the thing that everybody wants to test, which is the keyboard.
They don't have a Magic Keyboard, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
So why release this iPad now if its main accessory isn't available yet?
Well,
because you need it before the main accessory is available.
Because you need it because it was ready.
If you have the 2018, you should not update to this, even though one of us did. But I think if you came from a first-gen iPad Pro, you're going to wait until the keyboard's out. It seems strange to me that they're so far apart.
Probably.
I mean, there are a bunch of conspiracy theories, if you want to make them. I think that it is curious that they all got 6 gigabytes of RAM now. I think that is a curious thing. I wonder if there's a reason for that. I don't know. But go on. What is your theory?
It's really Jason's conspiracy theory, I think.
No, this was my theory, which Jason ignored on Upgrade and then made himself to the two of us and then said, oh, wait, actually, Myke said that, which is that there could be some reason for it, but they're probably going to do a second one later on in the year.
Oh, that's not where I was going.
Okay, well, what were you saying then?
So there is a school of thought. I don't think I buy into it, but just stick with me. You got 6 gigs of RAM, you got a keyboard, you got a trackpad, you have ARM Max coming. What if this sort of setup is the development kit?
Yeah, that is Jason's theory,
maybe.
and I am on board with it. I think that is going to be the case.
Federico, you probably don't remember this, but there is an article on Mac Stories about this, about the Intel development kit that I wrote. And
I do remember that. That was interesting.
also looked like a G5 and a Mac Pro.
But that was a fascinating story. I can see that. I can see, like, sure, it makes sense. Now you have a trackpad, and if you want to test your apps, you can have this as sort of like a developer kit, and you can install this special version of macOS on an iPad. It's going to look super weird. I don't really know if they're going to do it because, like, again, running macOS on iPadOS, even though it's a developer thing, I don't know. Maybe it sends the wrong message. Like, I can see a bunch of people saying, oh, this is actually so much better than iPadOS. Why don't you actually make it the official thing? macOS on iPad, it can totally work. So I don't know if they want to create a precedent for it, you know? Also, I'm sticking with my 2018 iPad Pro. I've made my decision here after reading these reviews. I am very glad that 2 years ago, despite some mild criticism that I got from some people, I purchased the really expensive 1 terabyte iPad Pro. That turned out to be the only one with 2 extra gigs of RAM, unlike the other models, which were stuck on 4 gigs. And I have shown, like, there was a thread on Twitter from 2 years ago where I showed how some of my shortcuts were actually taking advantage of that extra memory. On other iPads, those shortcuts would have just crashed the Shortcuts app. This still happens today, but for other issues and bugs with shortcuts, not because of RAM, unfortunately. I still cannot use MusicBot in Shortcuts in 13.4. It's been crashing the Shortcuts editor for over a month now. So anyway,
it's good to have worked so long on something for it to stop working.
And to never use it again. Yes, it's a great feeling. I'm sticking with the 2018 because I argued at the time I want to future-proof my iPad Pro, and this is exactly what I meant by future-proofing. Now I have an iPad that has pretty much the same exact specs as the new one. I will not get that extra GPU core, I guess, of the 2020 spec bump. I will not get the studio quality microphones, which is too bad because it means now I will have to quit podcasting. But that's a consequence I will have to accept. And I will not get the LiDAR sensor. So unfortunately, I will also not be able to go grocery shopping and holding my iPad up to a shelf to see where the cereal are. That's also unfortunate, and there will not be the U1 chip inside, but as we all know, I will have to suffer the consequences of so many features that depend on the U1 chip that I will not be able to take advantage of. And so that section of my review this summer, unfortunately, it'll have to be cut. All those features I will not be able to mention. But seriously, I think I'm going to be fine. Anybody with the 2018 iPad Pro, especially if you have the 1 terabyte model. But even with the other ones, I think you're just going to be fine and you can avoid this iPad Pro. If you have an older one, then totally go for it. And I think this is pretty much what every reviewer said. Like, if you have an older iPad Pro that is not the 2018 one, unless you're an ARKit developer, if you have an older one, go with a new model. If you have a 2018 iPad Pro, stick with it and let's see what happens with this rumored mini LED iPad Pro coming supposedly later this year.
Yeah, I've got the 11-inch, the 2018 one, and I have the 4 gigs RAM. Like, it never feels slow. I'm perfectly fine skipping this generation. I am going to do the Magic Keyboard, but I think it's great that Apple made that thing backwards compatible. And I think that's kind of a nod towards, like, yeah, this update isn't meant to be a year-over-year thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Myke, you got anything you want to share?
Like, I'm pretty sure I shared it already. I did buy one. So like reason number one why I bought one is I ordered it before I read anything.
Okay.
Right, so that was reason number one. So I just put the order in, and now at this point, I kind of feel like one of us has to have it. So I have it now. I'm hoping the 6 gigabyte of RAM will mean something. I was also waiting for an iPad update because I wanted to donate my larger 12.9-inch iPad to Adina because she's using the 10.5, and I think that, and she's also starting to do more illustration projects again and wants to use Procreate more, and I think that she will find it much better to have a bigger screen and the Apple Pencil 2 rather than the Apple Pencil 1. Everybody knows I love AR, right? Like, that's a big thing in my life. You know this about me, right? That I'm always in AR, so this is going to be great. Just excited about that. If I'm going to be really, really petty and nitpicky, the mismatched camera cutout on the Magic Keyboard would bother me.
You never see it. It's in the back.
But when I close it up
and you look at it,
and I'm walking around with it, and I guarantee right now that both of you are going to be sad about it, and I bet Steven upgrades his iPad because of it. That's the bet that I'm making right now. Or Steven will quote unquote drop his iPad accidentally and break it.
I will say
the most expensive camera mismatch you've ever seen.
No. I will say, since the Apple stores are closed, my phone has been in a case 100% of the time.
You're incredibly danger prone. I'm not going to be updating my 11. And that's kind of it. Like, I have it, like, you know, probably, well, not probably, I didn't. There was no reason for me to get this thing, but I have it now. So I actually have it now. I haven't even opened it. It arrived like just before we started recording.
You want to do some unboxing Foley work for us?
Sure. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be very exciting, but
well, I could put some explosions in the background or something.
This is ASMR, everybody.
I feel like I'm encroaching on Steven's territory. Unboxing.
iPad Pro, 6 gigs of RAM.
Okay.
Are we done with that now?
I feel so relaxed
Hang on.
now. Is that the plastic? Is that the film on top of it?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Does the camera module look like a face?
Yeah. It's nice to have a silver iPad again.
Silver's the right color for everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it?
It is.
Is it though? Mm.
It's comes with a. I'm trying to read the wattage on the plug, but it's hidden.
The plug.
It's literally impossible for me to see this. They hide it underneath the prongs now on the UK ones.
Under the prongs.
Yep. So I don't know.
It should say on the box.
Should it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who needs to know this information? No one cares. I was just trying to find something of interest.
Federico left.
No, I'm still here.
You're the only one that leaves during the show when people talk about things they're excited
I
about.
didn't leave.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, sure.
Didn't.
We all know you left, and you're trying to like retcon it and make yourself sound better by saying you.
Yeah.
The box is so much bigger than it needs to be. It feels like. Anyway, so there we go. New iPad.
Woo!
I'm gonna put stickers on it, and I'm so excited because I've not had stickers on a device for many months now.
So you put the stickers on the iPad, not on the cover.
On the
okay.
iPad. Yeah.
Okay.
Because as I said earlier, I never have it in a cover.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. So do we want to talk about this rumor there's going to be a second iPad Pro this year?
Well, I mean, that rumor's been around for a while. Like, we've spoken about it on the show, and I think that this product just makes that seem more likely.
Agreed.
Mini LED, 5G.
They should do it like put, I don't know, 8 gigs of RAM on that thing, new display, make it like the Pro version of the iPad Pro, like an even Pro, right? No, for real though. Like mini LED, more RAM, 5G, new processor. I don't know.
Put a bunch of holes in the back of it.
Why not? Oh, like my secret dream for this thing. Let me pay a good extra to have, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna actually write about this too. a matte display. Like, let me pay for a matte iPad Pro with like I don't know, could be the nano texture thing. I don't know. Figure out a way to offer a real anti-glare display on the iPad Pro. Let me pay extra for it and I will give you the money. Please. Like, I really don't like. I'm still using the Moshi eye visor screen protector, which is it's pretty good. But to have an actual matte display, that would be fantastic. So they should do it. Like, offer a bunch of like cutting edge features that are still not part of the regular iPad Pro line.
How much more will you pay for the matte screen?
Oh, I would pay.
How much?
I don't know, up to 1,000. I would do it.
You go up to 1,000.
Oh yeah. If it means
up to
that,
and including, if they said it was a cool €1,000 to do it, you'd pay it.
Yes, I will sign a document that says that I will pay €1,000 right now.
No, you just pay it to Apple. You don't need to sign anything for us.
No, I need to make
Give
it official.
me a document to sign.
I will do it because that will be an investment, especially when I'm at the beach in the summer. If it means that I can actually get some editing work done, absolutely, I would pay that extra. Yes, I will need to explain to my accountant, but I would.
It's for your work.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably get a better processor too, this other one, right? Like an actual real increment.
It's still the A12. It's all the difference is that GPU core. So it's not even the same generation as the iPhone. It's still behind.
I guess at that point it would be the A14X if they actually do it this year, because the iPhone is getting the A14. So this would be the A14X. Yeah, mini LED 5G new processor. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, I think it will happen.
I want to believe, I want that. That's also a reference of X-Files, which I've never watched, but I know the reference.
I would love to have your matte screen, but I do not think they will do it. I want them to do it, and I'm sure you're probably the same. It's like, don't think they will. Would love it if they would.
I would also love a second USB-C port, but especially now that they've done the Magic Keyboard, I don't think that they're ever going to add the second port. Your second port is in the Magic Keyboard.
I don't think I would pay £1,000 for the matte screen. No, actually,
£1,000 are so much more. I think. I don't know.
£1,000 is more than €1,000. That's true.
Yeah, right. I know. Okay. Just checking. I don't know. Would you pay £700 though? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Steven, would you get one of these
with the matte display
or without?
I mean,
you can answer separately.
So I'm skipping this iPad, but yeah, if it's A14 and better screen, everything, like I think I would upgrade.
And 5G, say it. And 5G.
I mean, in the one corner of the country, you can get 5G. Sure.
Okay. Sure.
It's mostly made up.
Which also happens to be in Memphis, right? Because you guys have 5G.
Yeah. My neighborhood was listed in that document. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that. But for now, I think the 2018 is great. I do think this is going to be like a weird, short-lived sort of half step.
You know why, actually, I will be happy about buying this iPad? Is this iPad gets me my pick without it being what I thought it was going to be.
You thought it'd be 5G.
We thought it'd be 5G. So if the iPad gets 5G, the iPad will definitely be announced after the iPhone, you would assume. And so then I will get the pick for the 5G iPad and the pick for the feature before. So then I will be like super happy about buying this iPad because I'm like supporting my own win.
It came up in the chat room that USB-C port in the Magic Keyboard, that is just for power. So you can't plug in. Yeah, you can't plug in a hard drive or thing. That's totally fine because most of the time you just want it for power, so it kind of stays out of the way. And in that situation where it's on your desk and then you pick it up and take it with you, then it's charging without you having to plug anything in, right? You just sit it back in the keyboard case and it starts charging. I think a lot of people who use this at a desk are just going to leave their case plugged in all the time.
I have a bit of a random question to put out to listeners while we're talking about USB-C and the iPad Pro. Just like a small request that maybe there's like a single person out there who knows the answer and can confirm this with me. So if you are really into high-resolution audio, if anybody happens to know, happens to be able to confirm with me whether the USB-C port on the 2018 or 2020, for that matter, iPad Pro supports up to 24-bit, 192 kilohertz output. I would be really happy if you could confirm this with me, specifically if you ever tried to connect a USB DAC to the USB-C port of the iPad Pro. So I just thought, we were talking about it, I just thought I would ask. I know that there's a bunch of people out there who use like Amazon Music Hi-Fi or Tidal Hi-Fi on the iPhone and iPad Pro. And I cannot find any official documentation on this. I just was able to find a single person on a random Amazon Music forum who did a bunch of tests with the 2018 iPad Pro and audio quality, like high-resolution audio output on the via the USB-C port. So if anybody else has ever done this, please get in touch with me and let me know, because I'm working on a story about it. Thank you. Did you guys get any of that?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't even really know how to test what you want. Honestly, like I don't even. You can give me all the stuff, and I wouldn't be able to.
Okay. Usually, if you have an external USB DAC, usually comes with a display that shows you the audio quality that is coming in from an audio source.
And they mostly don't work? Or you're not sure if it would work?
No, right now my USB DAC works, but the app... So I don't know if it depends on the app that you're using on the iPad when playing back like FLAC music files, for example, or if it depends on other factors. Right now I'm testing with my FLAC library, and the app that I'm using is called Prism. And Prism is a Plex client, so it's like a third-party client for Plex. My FLAC music is stored in Plex. I am unable to tell whether the output is going up to 24-bit or not. So I figured maybe somebody else has tried this before me, and they will be able to confirm with me. I also wonder if it's a problem of the USB cable that I'm using as an adapter. That there could be some downsampling happening with that USB cable. I don't know. Again, I have no idea. And there's no official documentation from Apple. Apple does have these kinds of details when it comes to the external. Like there's a document here called about the external features and ports on iMac and iMac Pro, and they do have some details.
You don't have one of those. You're looking at the wrong thing.
They do have details on audio, but I got the wrong Pro, Apple, not the Mac one. So if you are one of those people, please get in touch with me and share your knowledge with me. Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm. Nobody will, I'm sure.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. You would be the person to answer that question for someone else. Like that's as far as it goes. You're not
just assign this to John.
Also, if you happen to work at Apple and you want
that's the only way.
Privately.
If you happen to work for Apple on USB audio on the iPad, it's like one person.
And you've tested this very specific feature that Federico's interested in.
Please let me know. The only thing I was able to discover, again, from other people on online forum boards, is that the AirPlay audio protocol, so we're talking wireless now, was locked to PCM 44.1 kilohertz, which is like the standard like CD quality audio stuff. Again, that's AirPlay, so it's like a different thing. I'm interested in the USB-C port on the 2018 iPad Pro. What kind of audio output does it support? Is this guy called Fat Burger? I think his name is Fat Burger.
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm looking
Where are we going now? What's
this person on avforums.com?
Oh. Okay.
Now, hold on.
Steven, can we go to an ad, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
No. This person. No. So the original poster is called Joker with 2 R's at the end. This is actually very well done. A comparison of using the Tidal app and the Amazon Music HD app on the iPad, 2018 iPad Pro via the USB-C port. It's very detailed, but I don't believe that Joker works at Apple.
No.
Or, so...
Neither do I.
I will share this link for the show notes.
Please do.
Yes.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Hover, one of the show's longest running sponsors. When you have a big idea, where do you go? For a ton of people, Hover is that first big leap because your business starts with a domain name. Hover has over 300 domain name extensions to choose from. So no matter what you want to build, there's a domain name waiting for it. They have excellent technical support to answer any questions you may have, and they're dedicated to getting you online, not upselling you. Hover has free Whois privacy, so the bad guys don't get your info. Really clean UX and UI during the checkout process, and monthly sales on popular top-level domains. It's easy to see why Hover is the popular choice for people starting businesses. I've had my domains at Hover forever, but recently I was helping a friend get a website up, and he had several domains just scattered across a bunch of different companies, and I brought them all into Hover, and the transfer process is really easy. A lot of these other companies make it difficult to do simple stuff, but Hover's UI makes it really easy to understand what's going on. I got all of his domains moved over and forwarding, doing what they need to do without any heartache. We all like intuitive user experiences and things that just work straight out of the box. So I know you're going to appreciate Hover because it's simple, clean, and easy to navigate. Buy your domain and start using it today. Go to hover.com/connected and get 10% off all new purchases. The URL one more time is hover.com/connected. Make a name for yourself with Hover. Our thanks to Hover for the support of this show and Relay FM. iOS 13.4 is out in the world. Federico, you may be unaware of this, but there's a story over on Mac Stories about this, going into all of the features.
I don't know why this is a joke now. I want you to understand that the Power Mac G5 was an isolated issue because it's a boring computer. I need you to understand this, Steve.
It had liquid cooling, man.
I read all the stories that go up on my website.
Liquid cooling.
But the particular one I also read, it just didn't stick with me. I'm sorry.
I read them, and when I say me, I mean sometimes John reads them. I mean, John always reads your column. I never read your column.
Yeah.
That is factually untrue.
Okay.
I reject that
Premise.
accusation. Yes.
Accusation, even nicer.
It's an accusation. I don't like it.
So anyway, so Ryan did an excellent job going through all of the features, iPad cursor support, iCloud shared folders, and more. Let's start with cursor support. So we played with it in the beta, and if you haven't yet or haven't seen it, Jason put this amazing article together with a bunch of GIFs where he captured different things the cursor can do. And I want to know how you guys are feeling about this so far.
Loving it.
Yep.
Absolutely loving it. Loving it. Oh, it's made my iPad so much better. Like, I'm so happy, boys. I really am so happy. Like, just so good. It's fantastic. I love it. So that's my review.
Wow. So
It's just brilliant.
Like it?
It's like, honestly, it's as big an impact to me as an entire iOS release. Like, and I'm not, this is no, like, hyperbole. Like, this 13.4 is as important to me as 13 was. Because it is completely changing the way that I use my iPad for the better. Like, I was already using every single day the accessibility mode, and it was okay. This is, like, so well implemented, so well done, and I'm happy and excited for, like, numbers. Like, you know, like the update to numbers. Something you could never do on numbers on iOS that drove me mad was you couldn't do that thing, I don't know what you would call it, the automatic formula stuff, where you would, like, click a cell and drag down and it will fill...
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that on numbers, but you can with a cursor. So, very excited about that. Right? Like, just stuff like that. But just in general, it's fantastic. I love it. And using my iPad is even more comfortable and amazing than it's ever been. So, super excited about it.
So I'm gonna share a story about these and other things that I've been doing with my iPad Pro next week. I'm working on it right now. But basically, the best thing about this native cursor is that they did not copy the Mac cursor, and it's really hard to describe it. I think, and I'm sorry, Stephen, if the analogy doesn't, you can leave for 30 seconds if you want to. But you know leave. How, like, when you play Super Mario on Nintendo console. I mean, come on, it's Super Mario, it's universal.
Yeah, of course.
When you play Super Mario on Nintendo console and you click the button and Mario jumps, and it feels like the button that you click on the controller, and this has been true forever on the Game Boy, on the Super Nintendo, on the Wii, but the button is like a natural extension of your finger. Like it just Nintendo created that illusion that the button is like part of the game itself. It's not a plastic button. It just feels like it's integrated so well with the game that when you press it, Mario jumps, and it's so natural. It's so intuitive, and I feel to an extent that there's a bit of that magic in the native cursor, in that it just feels like it's part of the UI, even though it's actually based on an external accessory. Like it requires additional hardware, but it just feels like it's a native component of the interface. And the way that it squishes and the little dot becomes an I-beam, or becomes like a tool that highlights icons and toolbar elements. It just feels so intuitive and natural. And that is why I believe the best thing that Apple could have done here is not copy the default behavior of macOS, because that would have worked maybe, but it wouldn't have been as intuitive, as seamless maybe is the right word for it, as it is right now.
It also would have made a different statement.
Yes.
Like the statement would have been, the only way this can be done is the way it's currently done. Where what this shows is there's a different way to do it. Like fundamentally it's the same type of thing, but this is a different operating system. It's built differently. It has different underpinnings. Like you can make it look different and act differently that fits more with the operating system. Like this would feel weird on the Mac. Like the traditional pointer would feel weird on iPad OS.
Yeah, I also feel like if the way that Apple has done this, it feeds into the idea that the iPad is this new kind of computer that can adapt to different scenarios. So like it can be a tablet, it can be sort of like a laptop, and there's going to be a Magic Keyboard. It can, you can use it with a stand. You can use it with an external monitor. Like there's this multiplicity of inputs, and the way they all work together with a single computer, I think that's what sets the iPad apart from a Mac, and that is why I am so happy that they did this different cursor implementation. So it's very well done, and I really recommend reading the page from the Human Interface Guidelines on
I
it.
love that they added this to the HIG. It's really nicely done, and I'm very happy that it's there.
They have some examples of what I believe is a keynote update that is not out yet, but showing how they took advantage of like pointer customization. So like when you're dragging certain elements in Keynote on your iPad, the cursor transforms into this like arrow tool that shows you exactly what you can do.
Yeah, I was excited to learn that developers could customize it. I think that's really exciting and surprising. Like I wasn't expecting that, but like you are able to kind of visually represent things that you're doing with the cursor by manipulating the design of the cursor, and a third-party developer can do that themselves, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so go check that out. And I've been retweeting some developers who are taking advantage of the new API in 13.4. So we're talking about hover customizations. So when you hover over elements, the pointer customizations, the effects that you can add. There's definitely more coming. I know that developers are working on this stuff right now. Obviously, Rambo is send me a beta of the Chibi Studio app that they have an update coming with deep trackpad integration. Super well done. They have all kinds of like hover effects and tool tips when you hover over tools in the palette. So this is like a Chibi Studio is like an avatar creation utility. So they have like it's a design tool. So when you hover over buttons, you get a tooltip. It's sort of like Photoshop in a way. You have this tool, this palette on the side. It's very well done. Doesn't surprise me that it's been reverse engineering even before the new version of Xcode was out last night. So yeah, if you're a developer working on this stuff, get in touch. I love the way that it's done. I was able, thanks to this, to really simplify my setup at my desk with the ultra-fine monitor that I use. I now use a Magic Trackpad 2 with the iPad. I love it. It's so well done. And again, the best part, they didn't copy the Mac, and they did not wait for iPadOS 14. So thank you, Apple, I guess.
It's amazing to me how well it works in some apps that haven't been updated. Like, I think if the more standard your UI is, the more you get this just out of the box. There are definitely some apps that it needs some help in, but if you haven't played with this yet, like, just take a Magic Mouse or Magic Trackpad, hook it up, and just spend some time with it, because it really does change how the iPad feels, and it means that you're still going to need to touch the screen for stuff. I think that'll always be true, but you can, if you want to keep your hands down, do that really easily now too. I'm a big fan.
It's really good. I love it.
Another feature in 13.4 is iCloud folder sharing. Finally, this was announced for iOS 13, but it's here now. So it is part of iOS 13.4 and the Catalina update 10.15.4, and I can say how it works there as well. You go into iCloud, you add a folder, or you pick a folder, and you have to add a person from the share sheet. And I don't spend hardly any time in the Files app. The only real cloud service I use is Dropbox, and I just use their app. But boy, I find Files confusing in places. Like, why do I have to long press to get to things? Like, it's messy in places. But you can add people, and you can do it. It looks like just like sharing an Apple Note, so you can do it via email or text or whatever. So I sent y'all a link via iMessage, and we put some files in there. I renamed one of them a couple times, and edited a picture, and it all seems fine. I am not looking to replace Dropbox, but I think if you want to, this is probably okay by now. But I would do some testing before you put your whole life into it. It's interesting on the Mac. We have a link in the show notes. The shared folders get little labels, and so
it does this on iOS too.
Does it? It's like off to the side, it says shared by me, added by Myke Hurley, modified by Federico Viticci. So you can kind of keep track with what's going on. Dropbox does not do this. I think it's nice. It's really weird. Like, nothing else on the Mac and Finder looks like this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess Dropbox does it in their own way, where they have the shared thing in their app and the menu bar. Like, it's not the same, but
it's not right there in Finder.
Exactly. I'm not going to use this for anything. I have no plans on using this. Are either you going to do it? Like seriously use this for something?
Nope.
Not right now. I want to hear the horror stories first, and then I want Apple to fix them, and then I will consider it. Because, sounds bad is going to happen here, for sure. And I want somebody else to experience that nightmare before me.
I mean, or nothing happens, and it's just a long time, and we keep hearing people saying that they're using it and it's good, and then we can go with it. But
maybe.
But there are horror stories in Dropbox. It happens. Bad stuff happens, but it happens less frequently, and you are confident that even if something weird happened, it would be like, well, it's not going to keep happening to me. Well, at least that's what you think, right? Because you've had a long history with it. But I'm keen to see how people get on with it, but I just have no desire or requirement for it. I'm perfectly fine with Dropbox. It's working great for me. Has done for years.
So much of my workflow revolves around shared folders and Dropbox, and everyone I work with is going to have an iCloud account, but a lot of people that's not true for, and so that limits it. I think Dropbox has a more maybe it's not a large user base, I'm sure, but for this, it's much more widely known. Like, how many people even know this is a thing? I would say that you probably shouldn't put any base 64 in a shared folder. So Federico, please don't base 64 us.
We'll see about that.
Oh no!
Gotta remove that folder.
We shared a folder with him.
Maybe it's too late. Maybe you will end up like John Voorhees with thousands of text files. In that
Peanut
folder.
butter, peanut butter.
I had a bit of a problem installing 10. I had a little bit of trouble installing iOS 13.4.
10. That was your problem.
Trying to install iOS 10, it wouldn't go on my phone. Where I was talking with you guys, my iPhone would tell me that it downloaded, but it could not verify the update because I was no longer connected to the internet. I was like, well, that's just not true. Like,
I mean, I can imagine you would have a problem if I was not connected to the internet, but I know I am. I'm sending iMessages.
Yeah, I sent a screenshot of you, Mr. Error Message. So, I toggled airplane mode, I restarted the phone, and I came across this support document. I did not know this. You can remove a downloaded update from your phone. If you go into the settings area that shows you your local storage, it's listed in the list of apps. So it's like Overcast, 800 megs, Photos, 32 gigs or whatever. And then iOS update, however many megabytes it was. And I deleted that and re-downloaded it, and that fixed it for me. So I don't think this is a widespread problem. I even tried searching Twitter. It doesn't seem to be a real thing, but now I know this. This is a helpful little thing, because I was afraid I was going to have to hook it up to my computer and update it through, what's left of iTunes. I didn't want to do that. So that sort of jump started it for me. So if you do come across that at some point, you can remove that update and re-download it, and then it sailed right through after that.
Okay.
There's also some features for education and enterprise users. So this comes from an article on 9 to 5 by our buddy Bradley Chambers. There's been shared iPad support in schools for a couple of years now, where multiple students can use an iPad if it's all set up correctly with Apple School Manager. But now that is available through businesses through the managed Apple ID program. So if you manage the Apple IDs for your employees, you can get that multi-user support on the iPad. There is also a shared iPad temporary session. So someone can use use an iPad without needing to log into it. Just like on the Mac, there's the guest access user. It's been there forever, where someone can log into it and check their Facebook, and then they log out and all the records are destroyed. Same thing on the iPad now. I really want this to come to iCloud sharing for families. David and I did a big episode of Mac Power Users on iCloud family sharing maybe a month ago or so. And this would be a great addition, where I've got more kids than I have kids' iPads, and it would be nice if they could have their own ID and log into their own user on the iPad. And hopefully that's the next step here as Apple continues to roll this out. But if you are in an environment with managed Apple IDs, this could be a useful thing for you.
I'm not going to hold out hope for it, because it's been in education for a long time.
2 years, I think.
That's a long time.
And so now it made it to business 2 years later. So in 2 years, it will show up in iCloud family sharing. That'd be really nice. Lastly, universal purchases are now available. So if you sell an iPhone and iPad app, you've been able to share resources between them, share, in-app purchases and stuff. And now the Mac is roped into that, but it's not all great news. Federico, I read some of this, but can you kind of explain what's going on?
So universal purchase is basically they allow you to offer a single purchase across multiple platforms. So you should be able to offer a Mac OS, tvOS, iOS, and iPadOS app. So different binaries, but a single purchase. So if you want to offer a premium type of unlock, you can now just let people pay once instead of having to do some more complex things in terms of checking across platforms if the user previously purchased that thing on a different device. And it used to be very complicated before. Now, the issue there is that if you were one of the early adopters as a developer of the Mac Catalyst technology, you cannot take advantage of this right now, because you have to start fresh, in the sense that the existing apps that use the Mac Catalyst framework, for reasons that I don't fully understand, they cannot use the universal purchase thing, because they've already been made available on the App Store. So you need to start with a new SKU, basically, which is unfortunate, because there are a bunch of early adopters of Catalyst who I bet that, given the option, would have gone with a universal purchase months ago. But now they are stuck in the situation of having sold a Catalyst version of their app, being unable to revert back to the universal purchase system. And now they need to make a decision like, do we wait for Apple to make it available for existing Catalyst apps, which I think Apple should figure out. So I think maybe that would be the optimal approach, like send feedback and wait for Apple to make it possible.
This feels like a can't. Like, that there's something going on here. Like, why would you not do this? It's madness, right?
I
Like,
don't know.
I reckon it's some kind of thing where they had to draw a line, and that line included cutting that out. It would just be so strange to have done it if they could do it. I don't know.
Yeah, but it penalizes people who adopted their new technology when Apple said, adopt our new technology.
Yeah.
And that's a bad
exactly.
look.
Agreed.
So, if developers, of course, want to start fresh, they will need to abandon that SKU and losing those customers and losing those reviews.
Jeez.
And how do you go about this, right? It's the same reason why so many developers these days, instead of releasing separate versions of their iOS apps, switch to subscription and keep the release a new version as an update to the existing product. Look at Fantastical 2, for example. They do this because if they were to release a separate SKU, they would lose all of their existing reviews on the App Store. They would lose all of their positioning in terms of like search results on the App Store. It's very complicated to it's not as easy as say, just release a new app, because that comes with a lot of consequences for developers.
You also lose customers, right, who never know you have a different SKU unless you send some sort of gross push notification. Like it's a bad deal.
Even then, you won't get everyone. You could show it to people 20 times when they open the app, but you won't get everyone to move.
Yep.
Obviously, these developers who have launched Catalyst versions of apps, and there are some, I don't have any official numbers, but let's say about 100, maybe about 100 Catalyst apps on the Mac App Store, maybe more, maybe less, but let's say 100. And some of them are really good apps, right? There's actually powerful stuff like Fiery Feeds, for example. It's an RSS reader. What do? Do they just abandon the app and because they were one of the early adopters, which is usually a good thing to do, right? Following Apple's advice and adopting new technologies is usually a good thing. But now if they want to support universal purchases, they can't. So it's a bit of an odd predicament to be in at the moment. It's kind of awful, actually.
Frustrating if you're in that situation.
So those are universal purchases. I bet I got some emails from a few developers who are looking to, and of course we're talking about new apps, right? Some new apps coming with this kind of experience, and I will be sure to check it out as soon as it's available. I am curious to see how it works, but I bet there's nothing to see. You just purchase it once, and then you just download on a different platform. I don't think there will be anything fancy to see on the user's side. It's more of a thing on the developer side to implement, but in terms of the actual user experience, you pay it once and then you download it from the Mac App Store or vice versa, and it just works.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon is a premium men's essentials brand that believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. They make comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and more that are great for working out, going to work, traveling, or just for everyday life. And if for any reason you don't like your first pair of underwear, just keep them and they'll refund you, no questions asked. Not only do Mack Weldon underwear, socks, and shirts look good, they perform well too. They even have a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial, which means they eliminate odor. Mack Weldon really does value its loyal customers, so they've created what's called the Weldon Blue Loyalty Program. Just create an account, which is totally free, and there are a few different levels to the program. Level 1 is placing an order for any amount and never paying for shipping again. Level 2 happens once you've purchased $200 worth of products from Mack Weldon. You get free shipping and you save 20% on every order you make for the next year, plus access to new products before they're released to everybody else, as well as free gifts added to future orders. I just ordered 2 dress shirts from Mack Weldon. I had a kind of a situation where I realized that the only like nice dress shirt I had left, like the last one had a stain on it. I was like, okay, well, it's time. So I got a white one and a pink one, and they look fantastic. They're comfortable. They breathe well. I'm really excited about them, especially the pink. I really like the pink. For 20% off your first order, visit MacWeldon.com and enter the promo code WEIRDFISH, all one word. That's MacWeldon.com, promo code WEIRDFISH for 20% off your first order. Our thanks to Mack Weldon for their support of this show and Relay FM. We thought we would round up this week talking about some things that we are enjoying in our respective shelter-in-place situations. So a lot of people are spending a lot more time at home, and we thought we would just kind of recommend some stuff that we're enjoying. So, Myke, do you want to go first?
Animal Crossing. It's the only thing that matters in the world right now. for me, it's my only happiness is found on my island. I could not be happier about this game being released when it is, because both me and my wife Adina are playing it. We both have our own Switches. We're both playing the game together, and it is like helping us get out of bed in the morning, because we spend some time before we do any work, like just checking in on our island. And it is genuinely like really helping my mental health right now, because it is a video game that I love, but it's also super peaceful and tranquil, and it makes me think I'm outside even though I'm not. This game is absolutely wonderful, and I'm so pleased, and I'm enjoying it greatly, and it's awesome. You want to add anything, Federico?
I feel like I totally agree with you on the, it's a game that's keeping me sane right now, in the sense that it's so it's peaceful, and like it makes you feel that everything's fine, like you're not being judged by the game. You cannot lose at this game, that's been true for Animal Crossing forever. And you can just take it at your own pace. You can speed run this game if you want. Like there's people who time skip on their Nintendo Switch consoles. They change the date to move faster in Animal Crossing, but it's totally fine if you want to take it easy and slow and like spend a couple of days just fishing or catching bugs and making your island pretty with flowers. Like it's totally okay. And it's this game unfortunately could have not come out at a better time, I think.
It's like perfect. It's hit just at the right time for everyone, and it's a game that, because if you do play it as it's intended to be played, which is everything is running in real time, it's actually helping me add more structure into my days again, because there are things that I want to do at certain times of the day.
You got to keep a schedule for your village.
You got to keep a schedule. Like it's useful, and so yeah, it's just the right type of game for me right now. And I want to recommend 2 YouTube channels. They are incredibly different. The first one is Linus Tech Tips. I have only very recently started watching Linus Tech Tip videos, and pretty much all I have been watching on YouTube over the last couple of months is just catching up on watching what YouTube's recommending to me. There's Linus Tech Tips is a huge production. I think it's like 20 people that work at this channel. They have multiple channels. They're based in Canada. Linus is the main guy, but they have a selection of other individuals that participate towards the videos. They're very PC focused, typically, but they cover all the technology. I really, really enjoy watching them build computers. It's very lovely and fun, and the humor mostly works for me. Sometimes it's a bit childish, but like I can overlook some of that. But I find their PC builds just really good, and I enjoy watching it. And it's like a different area of technology that I am somewhat interested in, and I'm getting more knowledge from it by watching these videos. They're very well made, and I have absolutely no idea how they put out a video every day to the quality that they do. It is astounding. You can see why the team is so big when you look at it that way, but like really super cool. The last YouTube channel is the Bon Appetit YouTube channel, which is from the cooking magazine Bon Appetit by the same name. This is not your average cooking channel. Like, Bon Appetit basically has a selection of executive editors. I don't know if they call them executive editors, but like what they call editors. But they're effectively YouTube personalities now. And they are really like just very, very entertaining videos that they put out. There are 2 series that I recommend you start with. One is called Gourmet Makes, where Claire Saffitz attempts to remake some kind of treat. So, for example, the most recent episode was Girl Scout cookies. So Claire will take Girl Scout cookies and tries to make her own homemade versions that are better in quality. These videos are hilarious and super relatable because Claire usually like breaks down halfway through because she realizes she can't do it or something terrible happens, and she's very like, she's hilarious but also negative. It's like, it's in a good way. It's difficult to explain, but she is amazing and the videos are amazing. And then also It's Alive by Brad Leone. It started out as just a show about fermentation, like fermenting stuff. And now it's all kinds of things because I think they kind of started to run out of just fermenting things. Brad is hilarious. Just don't necessarily listen to what I'm saying about the recommendations. Just go and watch one of these videos, like each of them. One Gourmet Makes, one It's Alive. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Like, and there's tons of this stuff. And then once you have like binged all of those shows, there's loads of great content on the Bon Appetit YouTube channel. You don't have to want to learn anything about cooking and you will enjoy these. It is not about that. These are entertainment shows that have food in them. Like, super good. They are my recommendations. All of those things will bring some happiness to your life.
All right, so my picks. Well, I have a bunch. So in terms of music, if you, I've been obsessed with this new album by Lauv. That would be Lauv. He's been around for a few years now, but it's not like this huge pop star, right? It's this very
never heard of him.
Okay, so Lauv makes this sort of like chill, but also sometimes very catchy pop music. He's got an incredible voice, and I just recommend going and listen to the latest album that he put out a couple of weeks ago. It's on Apple Music. It's on every streaming service. It's super good. The best description that I've heard is that it sounds like an album in a good way from a boy band, but it's made by a single person. Like, it's got that richness, that catchiness to every tune that is just, it's so well done. And I've been listening with Sylvia on repeat for the past couple of weeks. It's really, really good.
Add it to my library. I always trust your
Awesome.
music recommendations.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. In terms of speaking of music, I got a couple of websites to recommend. The first one is obvious. I mean, Pitchfork. It's an institution in terms of music news and long form.
If you want to read reviews that are incredibly critical of every type of music, oh boy, do I have the...
Like, go catch up with the Pitchfork archive right now. They have a newsletter that they send every day with some they help you catch up with the archive, because this website goes like back 20 years, right? Possibly even more. And Pitchfork is also a festival. Like, it's a whole thing. It's a whole deal. It's a big deal.
Do you remember those
in terms of
festivals? That was a nice time.
Remember
Come on,
when
man.
people could get together? Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Like, remember when we could walk outside and meet people? But yeah, they have an amazing archive, back catalog of deep, critical music reviews, which I sometimes disagree with, but even when I do, it's good to read somebody's opinion written with such, quality and style. And the other website, which is my go-to music website made by good friend Jason Tate, Chorus FM. So Chorus used to be many, many years ago, if you're my age, you may remember the Absolute Punk forums. on the internet back in the, when we were all into punk rock and emo. I was one of those people. This website used to be called Absolute Punk. Now it's called Chorus FM. They do daily linked posts, like they talk about all kinds of news in the music industry. They link to videos and concert dates, but it's also very much a website where you can find reviews, like deep, long-form music reviews, and Jason's weekly recap of everything going on in his life and the Chorus website and the music industry. It's got this column called Liner Notes, which comes out every Friday. You can read it on the website. I'm a supporter. They have a membership program, but you can also get it in your inbox as a free newsletter every Friday. So it's very well done, and it's a perfect mix of like the personal angle and like it's also a music newsletter. So yeah, I've been subscribed for I don't know how many years at this point. So Chorus FM, really good website, especially if you want to stay on top of like new videos and new singles and new albums. TV. Now's a great time to watch TV. Now's a great time to watch something light and fun and that can be a distraction. And my two recommendations would be Schitt's Creek
The best.
and Superstore. Schitt's Creek is amazing. Schitt's Creek is the best.
Oh my God.
Schitt's Creek is the best TV comedy in years. Not just because
I completely agree.
It's fun and like the jokes crack me up and all that, but it's the love and the characters and
the relationship portrayals in this show are some of the best I've seen in any television show.
The way that love and friendships are described in this show and are portrayed in this show are just so well done.
The use of swearing in this show is one of the funniest uses of swearing that I've ever come across. Like, whenever curse words are used, they are used the way that normal people use curse words. Like, you'll get what I mean when you watch it, but they're always hilarious because they're so unexpected, because it's not where you usually see this stuff in TV shows, and it's very seldom used, but it's used to great effect. But like, this show is absolutely fantastic.
It's wrapping up now. I believe there's only 3 episodes left in the final season.
We're just about to start the final season, I should say.
Yeah, it's also very good. Sylvia and I are fully caught up and waiting for the final episodes. It's a great time to catch up on the show if you haven't seen it. It's really, really good and just heartwarming and fun. It's a lovely TV show. The other one, Superstore. So initially, when you start watching Superstore, so it's a sitcom that takes place inside a mall. It's a workplace sitcom, right? And you start watching it and you think, oh, this is just a copycat of The Office. In fact, the creator of Superstore used to work on The Office before. And it sort of starts like that. So you can see like some of the parallels between certain characters of like, oh, okay, so in Superstore, this character is it's the Dwight from The Office, or this other character is Jim from The Office. That kind of, you can see that kind of structure. But as the show goes on, and this happens very quickly, even in the first season, it takes on its own personality. And also the way that this show deals with issues and topics like, sexuality or marriage or, divorced couples or immigration in the United States even. Like, there are some episodes where you will cry. For real. It's a really...
I cried a lot at The Office, so that makes sense.
But like, there are some episodes here on Superstore that are actually kind of heavy. There's an article from Vox, if Myke or Steven can find it and put it in the show notes. I believe its title was How Superstore Got Super Good, which is basically everything that I just said. It starts out like an Office copycat and then it becomes so much more. Really good, really recommended. And finally, in terms of video games, everything that Myke just said about Animal Crossing, also, like, I subscribe to that. It's it's super chill and relaxing and lovely game. If you're into something else, and if you're like me and you like competition, of course, I am under contractual obligation to mention Pokemon Sword and online competitive play. And if you're into that, you should subscribe to 2 different YouTube channels. One is Wolfie VGC and the other is Cybertron VGC. Wolfie Glick is the 2016 world champion of Pokemon, and he does an excellent job in explaining what it means to do competitive Pokemon play online with other people. He's also like this generally fun and lovely individual that it's like he's a fun guy. He's got a Twitch channel also going. I've learned a lot from Wolfie over the past couple of months. And Cybertron VGC is made by Aaron Zhang. He's one of the official commentators for official Pokemon competitions from the Pokemon Company. He also has his own personal YouTube channel. He has this really, really excellent explanation style in that when he plays online with other people, he actually explains the strategy and the thinking, because competitive Pokemon play can be a really deep game. It's like a combination of chess and poker rolled into one. It requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of patience to get going. So if you're on lockdown, now's a great time to start learning something new. And if you love Pokemon, boy, do they have the content for you. So competitive Pokemon and YouTube channels, it's a thing and you should look into it. Also, some people from the chat room want me to review anime. Unfortunately, I haven't watched any anime in years. I apologize.
Now's the time to start.
Not me. You know what? So I really, really want to get back into One Piece. Not in the sense that I'm now in multiple pieces. One Piece, the manga. One Piece, the manga, and the anime. I know that phrasing.
Are you talking about swimsuits again?
Well, it's got a C setting, so kind of play. No, One Piece. I used to read the manga years ago. I stopped in 2007, 2008, maybe. I'm way behind on One Piece.
You got time.
Like, way behind. But also, got plenty of time, especially if the lockdown is going to last until next month. So maybe now's a good time to watch One Piece again. So thank you, chat room.
I got a couple. You said it's the perfect time to watch something light and fun. I would recommend it's time to catch up on Better Call Saul, the prequel to Breaking Bad.
Never saw any of this show.
Of Breaking Bad?
No, what Breaking Bad I watched all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Better Call Saul I didn't.
It is extremely slow moving in places, and you just have to understand that it is an extremely slow television show, but it is fantastic. They're in their next to last season now. Like currently, I watched the most recent episode last night. Really fantastic exploration of that world that they created for Breaking Bad. So, and with that, of course, El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie, which happens after Breaking Bad, also very good. Not light, not funny, but fantastic television.
Allow me to bring things down for a minute.
It's about a guy who cooks meth. I would also point people, Federico and I and John Voorhees have been enjoying this a lot, as has Jason Snell. Ben Gibbard, most famously of Death Cab for Cutie, but also the Postal Service and a bunch of other projects, has been doing daily live streams on YouTube, and he is playing songs suggested by the audience, and he's done it now for a week, I think, and I haven't missed a set. They're all really fantastic. So if you're into that sort of music, it is really nice to get a little bit of that. He did a bunch of stuff for my favorite album, Plans, the other yesterday, which was fun. So, and I would say that we have a lot of good recommendations here, but I would encourage people not just to consume content. It is really nice to like chill out and take a break, but like that guitar that's in your closet that you haven't played since high school, or the knitting that you said you were going to learn, or like we all have those things. Like now's a good time to learn something new. We have the entire internet who can help us with learning things, and so I'm looking for those things. I got a couple things that I want to do, and so I would encourage you to find something new to learn or something to make, and I think that could be a nice way to spend some time as well.
That's very true. Great advice. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I want to do something, but I don't know what it is. Like I started zeroing in on a bunch of hobbies, but before all this happened, but they all required me to be outside of my house.
Yeah.
So I need to.
That's the trick.
Need to spend some rethinking on that a little bit. But
it could be as easy as like drawing or like something you could do with what you have. Of course, that's a limiting factor, right? If you want to take a rock climbing class, too bad.
What you can do, yeah. But right now, all of my time is taken up by Animal Crossing. That when I'm not working. So like, I'll think about that later on. I've got my hobby. My hobby is tending to my island.
Well, I think that's totally fine. So.
I think it's totally fine. Like I encourage
I'm not saying
video
it's not.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But like I encourage video games as like a great hobby to have right now.
Yeah.
Because as well, there are a lot of great video games out right now. People are excited about Half-Life Alyx, which is the VR Half-Life game. I won't be playing this because I scare too easily in VR. So I really want to play it, but Half-Life will scare the bejesus out of me.
You got nightmares, I bet.
But I really would like to play it. No criticism. Like, this is just like a personal thing, right? They should have made this game. Why not? And like, I know there are people that are loving it. But I've spoken to some friends that have played it, and they confirm my suspicions that like it is jumpy, and that means I don't want it. But cool.
If you want to find show notes this week to the stories we spoke about and all of these content recommendations, we're putting all those in the show notes as well. Head on over to relay.fm/connected/287. While you're there, you can send us an email with feedback or follow-up. You can become a member to support the show directly, or you can find us all on Twitter. Myke is there as IMYKE, and then Myke, of course, is the host of a bunch of shows here on Relay FM. I just finished listening to the new episode of The Test Drivers, where you guys tried out the Essential phone from 2017. Great episode. I really enjoyed it. And
thank you.
I kind of want an Essential phone.
It's a great phone. You can get them super cheap on like eBay and stuff, and I recommend getting one if you can. I got mine for like £150.
I don't know who would collect antique electronics. That's funny.
Yeah.
You can also find Federico online as Viticci, Viticci, and the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. Federico, I saw you and John tweeting that the 10th anniversary of the shipping date of the iPad is coming up, and I think you'll have some big plans for that. So when is that?
Next week.
Next week?
Next week.
Next week?
Yeah. By the end of the week, it'll be April 3rd. So we planned a series of things starting next week. So it's going to be
amazing.
Pretty busy at MacStories next week. Yeah.
Can't wait.
You can find me on Twitter as ISMH, and you can find my work at 512pixels.net and also a bunch of shows here on Relay. Go vote in Mac Madness Round 3, the quarterfinals, if you have not. Those are open through Friday, and then we will have our the last 2 votes. It's coming up quick. So we will have a winner by the end of next week. So that'll be...
Get ready for your heart to be broken.
Yeah, someone's going to be sad.
Everyone's
I'd like to thank our sponsors this week: Pingdom, Smile, Hover, and Mac Weldon. Until next time, gentlemen, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Goodbye, everybody. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Stay at home.
Adios. I don't know. Wash your hands.